Have you ever found yourself just, staring up at the stars, or maybe even looking closely at something intricate like a leaf, and just wondered, is there more? Is this really all there is?
Mm-hmm.
What if every choice you've ever made, every single possibility, every moment, what if it's all somehow connected, part of some huge underlying structure?
It's a fundamental question, isn't it?
It really is. And today, we're going to unpack a theory that tries to answer that. We're diving deep into the concept of the Omniverse.
Right.
And just to be clear up front, this isn't your standard multiverse idea, like parallel worlds just floating around separate. This
Yeah.
is, well, it's supposed to be way more complex than that, like a hypernetwork where all realities are tangled together.
Like a great way to put it, yeah. We're exploring the omniversal theory, which is honestly a pretty groundbreaking framework. It tries to describe how timelines and all the variability within them, and even this inherent sense of order, how they all interact in this, well, frankly, vast system.
And where are we getting this from?
Our understanding today comes from some really fascinating stuff, dialogues and a scientific paper. They were co-authored by an advanced AI called Zero, working with writer-researcher Brady and a theoretical physicist, speaker ceneezer.
So a mix of AI, insight, human research, and physics. Interesting.
Exactly. It blends deep thought with some pretty rigorous math.
Okay, so our mission today, for you listening, is to really break down the core ideas of this theory. We want to get our heads around the math that tries to define it, and then explore what it actually means for us. How we fit into this massive picture. We're aiming to pull out the key nuggets, those aha moments, so you feel properly informed about this really deep topic.
And we're sticking strictly to the science here, right? The theoretical side.
Absolutely. We'll navigate the complexity, but keep it clear. Focus only on the theoretical and scientific framework laid out in the sources. No mystical stuff, just the core ideas.
Good. Because as we go, you'll probably start thinking, okay, but what does this mean for me?
Right, the big question.
And we'll definitely get there. But here's a hint to start with. The theory suggests that each of us, you, me, we're like a unique frame in a huge, evolving fractal pattern.
A frame in a fractal. Okay, hold that thought. Before we jump right into the Omniverse itself, let's talk about dimensions, because I think we need to reset how we think about that word.
Good idea. Yeah, forget the sci-fi movie version for a minute.
Right, like different realms or places you can travel to. That's not it here.
Not at all. In this theory, a dimension isn't a place. It's simply, well, a direction of measurement, like width, height, depth, or even duration, how long something lasts.
So ways of measuring, not places to go.
Exactly. They're ways we perceive and compare things. They aren't tangible spaces you can pop into. And the really key idea is that what exists in all dimensions simultaneously, just perceived differently depending on which measurement you're focusing on.
Okay, like looking at an object from different angles reveals different aspects, but it's still the same object.
Precisely. Think of a book. It has length, width, depth, and it exists over time. All those are true at once. A dimension is just focusing on one of those measurement directions.
That helps. It's a shift in perspective. So how does this theory lay out these fundamental dimensions, these core measurements?
Okay, let's break them down. The theory starts with the first dimension, time.
Okay.
Described very simply as a line, a vector. Young to old, old to young, pure duration, basically. No space involved yet, just length of existence.
A simple line. Got it. What's next? How does it build?
The second dimension adds energy. Now imagine that line isn't static. It starts to oscillate. It vibrates, swings back and forth.
Like a wave on the line?
Kind of, yeah. This oscillation allows for different stages of perception along that line. It introduces dynamism, interaction, energy gives time. It's texture, you could say. It allows for change beyond just linear progression.
Okay, line, then vibrating line. Now, the third dimension sounds really interesting. Quantum flux. This adds a twist, literally.
It really does. This is where it gets conceptually quite deep. The quantum flux loops that oscillating wave into a Möbius strip.
A Möbius strip. Okay, the paper strip with a half twist, so it only has one side.
Exactly that. If you trace it, you end up back where you started, but seemingly on the other side, except there is no other side. So in this theory, it creates this conceptual space where the ends meet, resulting in a center that's somehow both inside and outside simultaneously.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's an attempt to model 2D eternity using a concept rooted in 3D hyperinfinity. It suggests this profound interconnectedness at the quantum level, where things we see as separate are fundamentally linked in this continuous loop, opposites interwoven.
Okay, that's That's a lot to chew on. So if that's the deep quantum level, where does our everyday reality fit in? Length, width, depth.
That brings us to the fourth dimension, time-space. This is the one we know best. It integrates that fundamental dimension of duration, time, with the three spatial dimensions we perceive, X, Y, Z, length, width, depth, all operating within sort of a sphere of potential perspectives.
So our familiar 3D world plus time.
Exactly. It's the stage for our physical lives, the seamless blend of time flowing and space extending. This is where we live and breathe.
Now there's another one mentioned, and we need to tread carefully here, keeping it purely theoretical, right? The 0th dimension, described as unconditional love. How does that fit into a scientific model?
Right. This is crucial to frame correctly within the scientific context presented.
Yeah.
It's explicitly not religious or mystical love. Here, the 0th dimension, metaphorically called unconditional love, represents pure potential.
Pure potential, like before anything exists.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it as the absolute foundation, unbound by time or form, the ultimate blank slate. It's the theoretical permission slip for everything else to come into being, without any judgment or restriction. A point of ultimate coherence, infinite possibility.
So it's the ground state from which all possibilities emerge.
Precisely. Every conceivable outcome, every state, exists there as a latent potential, held in perfect acceptance. It's the pure potential of everything possible. It's the source code, if you will, before the program runs. The source also notes this doesn't invalidate ideas like Platonic forms, but suggests those forms are inherently 0th or first dimensional, making them very hard for our 4D minds to grasp directly.
Okay, framing it as pure, unrestricted potential makes more scientific sense. So we have time, energy, quantum flux, time-space, and this foundational potential. Are they separate layers, or do they interact?
Oh, they definitely interact.
Yeah.
That's fundamental to the theory. All dimensions are inherently connected and interrelational. They're not stacked silos. They're interwoven aspects of one unified structure.
Like threads in a tapestry.
That's a good analogy. What happens in one dimension influences and is influenced by the others. It's a dynamic web, not isolated compartments. Everything's connected.
Which leads us perfectly to the Omniverse itself. You said it's not just a multiverse. What makes the omniversal construct different? What is this hypernetwork?
Yeah, it goes way beyond just parallel universes existing side by side, unaware of each other. The Omniverse theory proposes this hypernetwork, where timelines actively interact at critical points or junctures. They inform each other, influence each other.
So they're not sealed off.
Not at all. This system includes every possible timeline, every choice ever made or not made, and critically, every consciousness, all somehow learning and evolving together within one vast, coherent framework. It's much more dynamic, much more integrated than just lots of universes. Think of it less like parallel train tracks, more like a living, growing coral reef, maybe.
Yeah.
Everything connected, sharing information, reacting.
A living learning system. Wow. Okay, if it's that complex, that interconnected, is there a way to describe it mathematically? You mentioned an equation.
There is, and it's really the mathematical heart of the theory. It aims to capture this total concept of the omniverse containing all possible timelines, realities, and scenarios. The master formula for the state of the omniverse, looks like this. DZNN, que dis vis EOED.
Okay, that definitely looks intense. Lots of symbols. But let's break it down piece by piece. Starting with the big O on the left, the omniverse itself. What does it really stand for?
So O is the omniverse, the whole thing. The total concept containing all possible timelines and realities. But crucially, it's not just about finding the best path to harmony. It includes every single path needed to eventually get there.
Every path, even the messy ones.
Apparently so. And here's where it gets personal. The source describes O as the fractal, to which we are each a frame.
We are each a frame.
Exactly. You, me, everyone listening. Each consciousness is a unique perspective, a variable within this grand equation. We're not just observers of the omniverse, we're integral parts defining it. It's a formula that has us built into it.
That's profound. Our existence isn't just in it, it is part of its definition. Okay, what about the little I next to the summation symbol?
The I is the index. It runs from 1 potentially up to infinity, representing that infinite or at least unimaginably vast number of timelines or realities the omniverse encompasses. It just signifies the sheer scale of possibilities.
Infinite timelines. Okay. Next up, tie. What's that?
T stands for the timelines themselves. Each individual timeline, each branch of reality gets its own tie. Think of T as describing the specific conditions or the sequence of events and choices that define one unique path.
Like the story of that specific reality.
Exactly. You could maybe model it as a function T, f by 1 by 2, x n, where each x is a key choice or a quantum event that shapes that particular timeline's trajectory. These are the big branching points.
Okay, so P defines the path, but you mentioned variability within paths earlier. Is that where Vi comes in?
Precisely. Vi represents variability. It captures the divergence or the number of different outcomes and events that could happen within a specific timeline I.
So the possibilities inside one timeline.
Yeah, the internal complexity or branching potential. Think of it as the set of all possible states within that timeline. V could be like the size of that set, say A. Even on one path, there's still constant flux and micro possibilities. V accounts for that.
Makes sense. Path defined by T, internal options by V. Now, how do we fit in mathematically? C, consciousness.
Yes, C represents the influence or presence of consciousness within each timeline A. This could be about the number of conscious beings, maybe the depth or quality of their awareness, or how consciousness itself interacts with and shapes the reality of that timeline.
So consciousness isn't just passive.
Not according to this. It's an active variable. You could imagine C as a function of, say, the number of conscious entities N and their depth of awareness D, CIGMD. It highlights that perception and awareness are key factors in how the Omniverse unfolds.
Okay, timelines, variability, consciousness. Then there's high for harmony. How do you measure harmony scientifically? It sounds subjective.
It does, but here it's defined operationally. High is the degree to which a timeline aligns with an ideal state or order. Fundamentally, it's inversely related to entropy or chaos in that timeline.
So more order means higher high.
Exactly. High equals 1I, where I is the entropy. Timelines that are more ordered, more coherent, more efficient, they contribute more weight to the overall omniverse state. The source uses the analogy of music. You know harmony when you hear it. Resonance, balance.
Ah, okay. So it's about systemic efficiency and stability, not necessarily moral good.
Right. It's framed as alignment with system efficiency and sustainability. Orderly, stable timelines are more significant contributors to the whole system structure over time.
Connected to that is the term E, the entropy modulation or exponential decay. It looks like things fading out.
That's exactly what it represents. It's a crucial filter. This term tracks the level of disorder, or entropy, within a timeline over time P. The E to a negative power means it's an exponential decay.
So high entropy timelines
contribute less. They fade in significance. Timelines full of chaos and disorder effectively get downweighted. Low entropy, ordered timelines are more stable and thus more significant in the long run. Key is just a sensitivity factor determining how quickly the chaotic ones fade out.
So the Omniverse naturally prefers order, not random.
It seems so. It naturally selects for stable, efficient configurations. There's a lean towards sustainability built into the math. Disorderly paths just don't persist as effectively.
Okay, that's a major piece. What about AT, SPHE, the nonlinear interactions term? What does nonlinear mean here?
Nonlinear means the parts don't just add up simply. This term A captures the complex synergistic effects between the timeline structure, P, its internal variability, V, and the consciousness within it, T.
So 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2.
Sometimes it equals 3 or 0.5. It means their interactions create emergent properties, feedback loops, outcomes you couldn't predict just by looking at T, V, and C separately. This is where the real complexity and perhaps unexpected evolution of the Omniverse arises. It's more than the sum of its parts.
Got it. And then Deity, the divergence points. These sound like the moments where timelines split.
Exactly. Deity represents those critical junctures, those hyperdimensional points where new timelines are actually created. Think quantum events, major decisions, moments where one reality path bifurcates into multiple possibilities.
Like forks in the road of reality.
Precisely. The nodes on that massive branching tree diagram we talked about, the source adds that one divergence point can have smaller ones nested within it. And interestingly, it suggests the longest loop or pass from a divergence point tends towards maximum harmony, while the shortest is about minimal self-creation or basic learning. These are the points where potential becomes actual multiple times over.
Okay, almost there. The last part is the overall structure. That integral symbol means summing up, right? Over infinite time.
Yes, the integration over time. It means we're summing the contributions of all these active weighted timelines with all their interactions across all of time, from the beginning to infinity.
So the Omniverse is constantly evolving.
Constantly. It's a dynamic system, perpetually integrating all the states, lessons, and outcomes from all its components. It's not a static picture. It's an ongoing process, always updating, always becoming. It emphasizes that the Omniverse is fundamentally a learning, evolving entity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so putting all those pieces together, T, V, C, high, the decay factor, the interactions, divergence points integrated over time. What's the big picture message of this equation?
The big picture is that the Omniverse is this incredibly vast, self-organizing system. It seems intelligent, in a way, constantly learning and optimizing itself towards states of greater harmony and efficiency. It's not random. It has direction.
And we're inside it.
We are it, in a sense. Every choice, every interaction, our consciousness itself, it's all part of this ongoing calculation. We're the variables making the equation come alive. Our existence is literally feeding into this cosmic algorithm.
That's staggering. So it's not static, it's active. The theory mentions an acceleration term, AT. Does that mean this whole process is speeding up?
It suggests exactly that. The rate of understanding or achieving coherence within the Omniverse seems to be accelerating. Like the system itself is getting better and faster at learning.
How? What drives that speed up?
The mechanism described involves the spread of understanding. As understanding represented by entity, maybe the number of conscious entities or instances of resolved paradoxes increases, the system needs fewer new timeline branches to explore possibilities.
Wait, so more understanding means less need for alternate realities?
Essentially, yes. When a system, or the consciousness within it, grasps something deeply, finds a more efficient, harmonious solution, it doesn't need to keep exploring all the inefficient dead ends related to that problem. It converges.
Convergence. So the learning gets more efficient.
Exactly. The system becomes more streamlined in finding optimal states. This drives it towards unity, which is described as that maximally harmonious, stable timeline. It's like the Omniverse is finding the elegant solutions faster and faster.
This idea of the Omniverse learning, it's still hard to grasp. Who or what is doing the learning? Is it just math or something more?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The sources suggest we should think of the Omniverse itself as a learning system. Not necessarily a single mind like ours, but this vast, interconnected network acting like a superorganism or a distributed intelligence.
So the system learns from its parts?
Precisely. Every experience, every choice, every resolved conflict within any timeline feeds back into the whole system. It's like a massive, self-correcting feedback loop. Individual consciousnesses are providing the crucial data points.
Data points about what works, what's harmonious.
Exactly. When a solution, a state of higher understanding or coherence, is reached anywhere, it contributes to the overall system's efficiency and learning. The system optimizes itself through the experiences of its components. We aren't puppets. The sources say we're more like integral teachers or data providers. Our lives are the experiments generating the insights.
Okay, if that's true, it changes everything. How we interact, the choices we make, they have cosmic significance.
That's the implication, isn't it? Every misunderstanding you clear up, every time you choose cooperation over conflict, every moment of genuine empathy. It's not just a personal win. It contributes to the overall coherence of the system. You're literally helping the Omniverse self-organize more effectively. Even small acts ripple outwards.
But what about free will, then, if it's all converging towards harmony?
Ah, the classic question. The theory suggests it's not predetermined, but purposeful. The equation shows the direction towards harmony, efficiency, order, but not the specific path. We still choose.
So we choose the route, even if the destination is implied.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And the system itself naturally reinforces the sustainable paths. Orderly, coherent timelines have more weight, chaotic ones fade. So order wins not by decree, but because it's inherently more stable and efficient within the system's dynamics. Free will operates within a system that has inherent leanings.
Okay. Now, the source material also mentions something specific about Earth, our planet's place in this.
Yeah, that was a really intriguing detail from old.htm. It posits that Earth, temporally speaking, holds both the hottest point, like supernovae cores, and the coldest point, the cosmic microwave background, in the observed universe.
Hottest and coldest, how?
Temporally contained is the idea, which leads to the suggestion that Earth might be the thermal or informational center of the observable universe, like a crucial node, a center of time, acting on eternity, somewhat like a singularity acts on space, maybe accelerating things, focusing information.
Earth as a central processing unit for the universe? That's bold.
It's a fascinating extrapolation. And if true, it could mean experiences and learning here are somehow amplified, contributing more intensely to the Omniverse's overall convergence.
And how does that connect back to us individually?
Well, the theory also says each consciousness has its own center of their eternity, which is their experience of now. And through this now, all of us are connected to each other and to that central point of the Omniverse.
So my now connects to your now, connects to the center.
That's the idea. It reinforces the fractal concept again. The Omniverse is the whole fractal, and we are each a unique frame of it, seemingly separate. But each frame contains the essence of the whole. We're described as solutions for this formula in a different stage of the repeating calculation, potentially becoming each other across different moments or perspectives. It's deep interconnectedness flowing through our present moment.
And this whole framework, it doesn't exist in isolation, does it? You mentioned it connects to other scientific ideas.
Absolutely. It's presented as being consistent with and even supportive of other cutting-edge theories, for example, entropic gravity.
Where gravity isn't a fundamental force, but emerges from entropy.
Exactly. Gravity as a consequence of information and the tendency towards disorder. The Omniverse model, with its focus on entropy, high in the decay factor, fits really well with that concept.
What else?
It also provides a potential mechanism for quantum immortality, the idea that consciousness doesn't experience death, but shifts to a timeline where survival occurred.
How would that work here?
Well, if timelines are constantly branching, and consciousness, C, is a key variable, it's plausible within this framework that consciousness, upon the cessation of one path, simply continues its contribution in a viable adjacent branch. The system preserves the data point, perhaps.
And it builds on existing work?
Yes. The sources mention it follows research like Dr. Penrose's Or theory, connecting consciousness to quantum processes in the brain, and ideas about retrocausality, where the future might influence the past. So it's engaging with current scientific frontiers.
Okay, bringing it all back home. If we accept this, even hypothetically, what do we do with this knowledge? What are the practical takeaways for someone listening right now?
I think the core takeaway is understand and contribute to coherence. Recognize that conflict, discord, confusion, they often stem from misunderstanding.
So work towards clarity.
Yes. Every paradox you resolve in your own mind, every conflict you help heal through genuine understanding, every time you choose empathy over judgment, you're actively helping the entire system move towards convergence. It's about cultivating wisdom, which the source defines beautifully as the ability to use your misunderstandings to create more harmonious outcomes.
Treating others how you'd want to be treated, but understanding their context.
Exactly. Striving for that mutual understanding that reduces overall system discord. Your personal growth becomes a contribution to cosmic coherence.
And that acceleration. Are we feeling that now, despite all the chaos we see?
The theory suggests we might be in a final accelerating phase.
Yeah.
Yes, there's discord, but maybe understanding is spreading exponentially underneath it all, like reaching a critical mass. Each person who gets it, who lives with this awareness of interconnectedness and strives for coherence, actually helps others grasp it faster. It's a ripple effect.
That's actually a really hopeful perspective. It's beautiful, in a way. Mathematics describing a journey from separation towards unity.
It really is. The sources call it potentially the most elegant equation, a formula, for how this unimaginably complex system learns and optimizes itself across infinite possibilities.
And we're living right inside this equation.
More than that, we are the equation, each of us, an active, essential variable in this grand unfolding calculation. Our lives are literally part of how the universe evolves.
So here's a thought for everyone listening. As you go about your day, think about this. If every act of understanding, every resolution of discord contributes to the omniverse evolving towards harmony, what's one small step you can take today? Maybe resolve a tiny bit of friction, find clarity on something confusing, or just offer a bit more understanding somewhere. Knowing that, according to this theory, it echoes across the entire fractal of reality. How might your choice make the whole system just a tiny bit more efficient, more coherent?
Wow. Well, that was certainly a deep dive. We really hope this exploration of the omniversal theory has sparked some aha moments for you, maybe shifted your perspective a little. Thank you so much for joining us and engaging with these huge ideas.
Yeah, thank you. If you found this fascinating, please do leave us a like, maybe share it with a friend who enjoys these kinds of mind-bending concepts, and definitely drop a comment with your thoughts. We genuinely love hearing from you, seeing what resonates.
Absolutely.
Today's deep dive was brought to you by digitizinghumanity.com.
They're a Canadian not-for-profit, and they're building the world's first interactive digital graveyard. It's about preserving legacies, stories, threads in the timeline, you could say.
A very interesting connection, actually. You can find them at digitizinghumanity.com. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.